Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. My name is Corrine Heck. I am very excited to have two very special people join me today for our annual monthly Details University course. I have the pleasure of introducing both Kelly Mace and Laura Walsh of Smithers-Oasis, the marketing people behind everything that Smithers does. And they're here just to give us some insights into how they got started in the business and what's new with Smithers. So without further ado, welcome Kelly and Laura. Thank you.
Thank you. We're glad to be
Yes,
here.
we are definitely glad to be here. Thanks for having us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. I feel like we just did this not too long ago in Vegas, but gosh, that was almost 6 months ago now. So time certainly flies, but I feel
Right.
like we always have a good time whenever we gather. I saw Laura just this last spring at Dallas for Next Gen. So you guys both really make it around to all the floral events around the country, don't you?
We do.
We sure keep
do.
busy. I mean,
We
there's
do.
always something to get into around
Yes,
here.
yes. There's always something that we're going to or planning for. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're
I
busy.
know you guys have such a great team too. I just ran into Donald, I think, at the SAF Profit Blast, Donald Yim, he did a fabulous presentation. And of course, he was showing off Smithers. So he is one of your featured designers. You have a few different designers that you work with at Smithers.
We do. We have 8 design directors, and they're
Oh,
from all over the country, and we work a lot with them on, everything from product development to trade shows to, I mean, they put together, help us with our blogs and our podcast and, with our social media. And then we also have a team of ambassadors. So we have 25 ambassadors throughout the country. And they also, are out there presenting programs, and we get with them like every quarter and just kind of keep them up to date on all the latest and all the things happening, so that when they're out there presenting, they have all the latest news and all the information that they need to present.
no,
Yeah.
and you guys are really everywhere. I feel like anything I've seen that's happened, you guys are really great partners. You are there to help any of these educational events. So before we get into that, I'd really love to know, I guess I'll start with Kelly. Like, when did you first start working with Smithers? Because I feel like you've been tenured there quite a while. And can you tell us how you got into this? And then I will then turn over to Laura and say, like, let us know how you got here.
Absolutely. I actually started over 30 years ago. I know it's crazy, and I started part-time. I'd always had an interest in floral design and floral. And, and I had just had my second son, and I was like, I heard of this company called Smithers-Oasis. They had a part-time position. It worked out perfectly during that time in my life. And I applied, and 30 plus years later, here I am. And so, yeah, it's been an incredible journey, and it's just a fantastic industry to be in. And I'm very, very happy to have spent the last 30 plus years here. So
30 years. How amazing is that? And I tell her all the time, she must have started when she was 16,
must have.
and we need another 30 years out of her. So don't get too comfortable. Like, we
No.
gotta,
Oh,
Right.
and I'll also add that I think Kelly is a really good dancer because I first met her on the dance floor, I think in 2016 at the
Right.
Florida State Flower Convention. And we were fast friends right after that.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I didn't
Right.
know that story. Actually. That's a really good
That was my
cute. I
first
love
time.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
And you, Laura, how did you get started in with Smithers?
So I actually really love telling this story. And so for those of you who have probably seen me on other things, sorry if you have to hear it again, but so I grew up on an Angus cow farm down in Ohio, right? So I grew up on a farm. I was a product of the 4-H and the FFA and all the good stuff that we do. I love that.
Mhm.
And so agriculture has always been deeply ingrained in my life and what I do. And I went to college, and I did my undergraduate and my master's degree, both in business and marketing. And then as I'm moving on, I spent some time as a marketing director for a company that had supplies for like large animal and equine and all that stuff, still staying within the ag industry. And over time, I kind of transitioned to doing some freelance crop stuff. And so when an opportunity came up for Smithers-Oasis that not only used my marketing side of me,
Mhm.
but my agriculture side. It was made in heaven. And I have to tell you guys, I love getting the opportunity to like further the mission of agriculture. I think it's
Mhm.
such an important thing that we get to tell the important story of ag through floriculture, which is beautiful.
Mhm.
And flowers are prettier and smell better than cows. I'm just putting it
Yeah.
out there. They're a lot better. So
Right, right.
I've been here
Eight?
8 years.
Eight,
8 years.
eight,
Yeah,
almost
something like
8.
that.
Yes.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Right,
Next thing
right.
you know, I'm gonna blink and it's gonna be 30.
Hey, you aren't lying. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary this week. So I'm very,
Okay.
my baby is
Congratulations.
10, almost 10. So that's really
Congratulations.
exciting. Well, I'm glad you found your way into the floral culture industry. Is there nothing better than where we go and we get to see all these beautiful flowers? And
Exactly.
most any event that's happening, there is a Smithers Oasis product involved. So it's a pretty formidable product line that you guys have. How do how do you wrap your head around creating marketing to talk about the intricacies? Because really, most of the times we don't want to show off our Smithers Oasis product. We try so hard to cover all the mechanics, but they're necessary tools. So like, how do you get creative with sharing that with florists?
Yeah, so I think those are great questions.
Mhm.
So at the heart of what we do, we really focus ourselves in a couple of areas, right? And you talked about us being at shows and events and seeing us out on the street all the time,
Mhm.
and that really speaks to the value of education of what we do, right? So as a core part of our marketing and our programming and our planning, we really do try to focus on education, but not just any education. We want good, strong mechanics.
Yes.
Because even if you might not be able to see it, if you don't, if you don't see what's inside of your, beautiful floral expression, we want you to work with Smithers Oasis products and know how to be the best at what you're doing.
Right.
So when we create our marketing, when we create our programming, we
Mhm.
really start with an education first mindset. And we're not focusing on fly by night things. We're focusing on tried and true floral mechanics that are going to help our florists make money, save money, keep their reputation intact, and make sure that they're doing a great job and continuing to grow their
Right.
brands and their efforts.
Right, absolutely. And I think we've really shifted a lot to a lot of how-to, programs where people can actually work with the products. They can, have one of our instructors. I see one of our guests here was just with us at the WUMPA show. And Kathy, shout out to Kathy. And we had one of our design directors and Kevin Novasaker, and he did a program, 2 sympathy programs. And I think it was really well, first of all, it was well attended and it was sold out actually. And really everybody got a chance to make 2 beautiful designs, but they really got the education and the experience making something with maybe something that they hadn't tried before. So I think we're doing a lot more of that hands-on type of education and behind the scenes because we are kind of behind a lot of the designs. Except if it's
Yeah.
a midnight film, then you kind of want to show it a little bit.
Yeah.
No, yeah, of course.
Right.
And I really want to applaud you both because I know how brutal it can sometimes be to go and put yourself through like the examinations to do like what are the floral techniques. And I am yet to do that only because I'm really scared to have everything like judged accordingly. But I appreciate that you guys are really going about it from a technical standpoint to know. And also like what other marketing departments actually get to make sure that they know how their products work firsthand and that they get that right. So I like you, I think you both have your CFD. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yeah, we
Yeah.
both we both have our CFD. We both sat for AIFD. I guess it would have been 2 years ago.
Right.
Neither of us made it, which is fine. But to your point, sitting for AIFD was the most terrifying,
Yeah.
humbling experience probably of my adult life. And I tell people all the time, what's so interesting as adults, we don't do things that we're not good at, right?
Right.
Like when was the last time you went and did something that you like in front of other people and put yourself
Right.
to be judged on something that you weren't already sure of your outcome? And that was a very humbling
It
experience.
really was.
But it really let us help to learn our products, which has really informed better product decisions,
Right.
better marketing decisions, and it's made us better.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I thought it was really like noteworthy, and I thought it was really great. But then I would be terrified. I'm like,
Terrifying.
Well,
I don't know.
it was the first year that, like typically I have, like the products that are being used for testing, just because that's what I do. So that year that we tested, I was not privy to anything. So we had no idea what was going. And so it was like, okay. So we really did, really was a surprise package
We
for us.
play by the rules.
No,
Right.
that's absolutely true. I give you that. Well, are you gonna go for it again? Is that like off the table, or like, not that I'm challenging you at all,
Right.
but I know.
Right. Well, never say never. I mean, but yeah, I think it probably takes a good couple of years to kind of reel from that.
Yeah.
But
I'm
you went through
kidding.
all like the
I'm kidding.
training too. So that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that Smithers-Oasis wanted to send you guys to do that. So that I feel like that's one of the things that really sets Smithers-Oasis apart. Are there any other standout things that you would want to mention about what you guys do different, or what makes you stand
Yeah,
out?
it's different.
I feel like the question is, where do we get to start on that? So I mean, working at Smithers Oasis, I tell everybody that, I mean, Kelly and I have the best jobs in the industry.
We do.
We really do. We get to meet great people like yourself, do really
Mhm.
awesome programs, get involved in education with some of the best floral designers,
Absolutely.
and not just in the country, guys, we're talking the world.
Mhm.
So I think it's such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. But back home, when you think about who we are as Smithers Oasis as a company, I can't say enough nice things and wonderful things about how we really do truly put employees first, right? So sure,
Absolutely.
Kelly and I get to run around and do fun things,
Mhm.
but in each and every facet of the organization, from department to department, you see an employee first mentality here.
Absolutely.
We're allowed to take big swings and totally miss it, right? We're allowed to learn, we're allowed to fall down and keep going. And I think that that's what has made Smithers Oasis an
Absolutely.
organization that's stuck around for 70 years, right?
Right.
We just keep innovating, we just
Yeah.
keep trying, we just keep going. So I
Yeah.
think it's a pretty cool culture to be part of.
Right.
Well, and I think it's really neat that you guys do keep innovating. You keep putting forth products. You really listen to what the customers are wanting or looking for. And I can't imagine all the studies that you must do to bring not only a new product to market, but to like say, this is where we need to put money towards to bring this, because a lot of people are asking for it or they're needing it. So can you break down maybe what it might take from bringing a new product to market, and what was maybe the last things that you guys did put out there?
You want to talk about renewal a little bit? That's
Sure.
probably
Yeah.
a really good
Yeah.
place to.
Yeah. And you might have heard about our new floral foam.
Absolutely. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a worldwide launch of a new plant-based floral foam. And we're super excited about this. It's a product that really is just revolutionary. It's something that I think is just a game changer. And it's something that has been developed for many, many years. And like I said, it is a worldwide launch. And we're hoping to have that this year in the States here. We'll see some of it at AIFD. So we're excited for people to get their hands on it. So yeah, it's been scientists and PhD and scientists around the world have been putting this together, and it's a product that, like I said, I think it's really going to change the whole way that we design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very cool. So with our new renewal foam, it's a plant-based floral foam, which is so cool. And it's been certified by TUV Austria, TÜV of Austria, with a 4-star bio-based ranking, which is the highest that we can get for this particular one. But what florists will love about it is, honestly, if we didn't tell you it was different than floral foam, you'd never know. It acts, it looks, it feels exactly the same. There's no, I mean, we've tried some other stuff that we
Right.
brought out over the years, like Terra Brick and Fiber Floral.
Yeah.
You can tell those are different than floral foam. Whereas with renewal, same thing. No learning curve, perfect. You can put it right in front of you, you never know. And to Kelly's point, though, that doesn't happen overnight. That happens over decades of
Yeah.
research, hundreds of formulas, millions of
Testing,
dollars,
so
and
much
tens
testing.
of 20 of PhDs and scientists that would make all of us look like dummies, right?
Right.
It is definitely a feat that to be proud of, and we are so excited that we get to bring this to market.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really applaud worthy. I feel like this is something that florists have really been wanting to champion for a while now. And, it takes a big company with a lot of like backing to bring something like this to market. So thank you for giving other options. Cause I know that's kind of like it's like a very hot discussion topic, if you
Mhm.
will. Like,
Right.
how can florists be more
Sure.
sustainable working with green products? And I don't feel like anything is really perfect. Like, there's not really like when you come down to it. I know for the first ladies luncheon, we used a lot of chicken wire and so forth, and that's like, okay, well, is that as sustainable as it really
Right.
needs to be too? So I
Right.
feel
Right.
like this is like a good step and like a direction that is gives options, I guess, to people. But is there
Absolutely.
yeah. I know that you as the marketing people, you probably deal a lot with people, uh, giving up very loud opinions, if you will, on certain
They do
things
have those.
when it
Yeah.
Yes,
comes
they
to
do.
foam. So I thought it was really clever marketing when, you did the no foam
Right.
thing
Yeah.
from a few years ago, and it
Right.
wasn't N-O, no, it was
Just get to
K-N-O-W,
know it.
and,
Right.
like, no
Mhm.
foam, and I'm like, "Wow,
Right.
that is really good play on words," but I feel like there's a lot of people who talk about it, but also they don't have PhDs either, so it's a really funny, discourse to get into.
You bring up a really good point. So the no foam campaign was so fun for us to work on
Mhm.
because as we were having conversations with floral professionals, we learned there was a huge gap between what people thought they knew
Right.
and what was true.
Right.
Right. And we just having the same conversations over and over again. So we appreciated the opportunity to get to educate and let people know foam and really,
Mhm.
understand and get educated about it, which was really, really very fun. And what I tell people all the time, so yeah, sustainability is always such a hot button issue. But for me, I always say start with the right mechanic for the job, right? Your step number one is to find the right mechanic for the job. And then if you take it, use it, right? Be responsible, be a good steward of our resources, use the right stuff. If you take it, actually use it, and then be responsible to dispose of it in the way that it really probably should be. And if we do those things as floral professionals, I think we're all doing pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. So thank you. What is so you have a really strong presence in the market. I will tell you when I went to the UK the last couple years, it's been really nice to meet the Smithers UK team, which isn't you guys because you only do North America, but you have
Right.
representatives all over the world. I
Right.
mean, Mexico, I've met at the
Mhm.
Interfloor World Cup where we were both sponsors for that event. I feel like you had many representatives from like Belgium. How many countries is Smithers? I mean, I imagine florists are everywhere. So you are everywhere there are florists.
Yeah, yeah. So we're in 20 countries,
Yep.
18, 20 countries
Yep.
across the globe. And we have, manufacturing facilities all
Yep.
over the globe, and we're distributed in hundreds of countries, right?
Yes.
Which is really
Throughout the
cool.
globe.
And it's super fun. You're right. When you went to these other places, you got to meet like the Kelly Mace of the
The
UK,
UK.
right?
Right.
I'm sure
Right.
They
Yes.
didn't dance as good as you, Kelly, though. That's
never,
fine.
Oh,
never,
thanks.
never. But it's fun, right? And
Right.
it's cool because yeah, there's more of us everywhere. We're
Right.
all doing the same kind of stuff.
And which is great because we can use them as a resource too for some of the things that we're working on. So for instance, if we're working on a sympathy line or something, we can see what they're doing. And, so it's really great that we can work so close with our other divisions.
Well, and it's really a great way, I think, to test products in other markets because you have different manufacturing facilities for all of your
Yeah.
products too.
Yep.
So,
Right.
and
Right.
some countries might have more rules or regulations on things or
Right.
different standards of packaging. I just think it's what a monster, you know?
100%. Kelly and I, we sit on these global marketing calls with some of our counterparts,
Mhm, mhm.
and they talk about just how many languages that they
Right.
have
Have
to
to,
translate like instructions on packaging. And we're like, English, we're good. Like we're fine. We're out. So it's a lot, like when you look at like the different kind of regulations and things like that. But
right.
what's really cool is that because we do have the global footprint that we do, we can leverage test markets. We
Yep.
can see how other markets are performing. Let's say somebody has a really cool product. I mean, we can bring it in here in North America. And then even in instances like in the United States, I hate to say the word tariff because I feel like it'll be like, say it 3 times and it's a Beetlejuice situation. But the reality of it is having the global footprint that we do can help to minimize the disruptions, right? Which I'm really excited to be able to say that, we're able to put better, more robust plans in place because we do have a global footprint to leverage. A lot of companies don't have that.
I think that's pretty interesting too, because if you're manufacturing in whatever country you're, selling it, you don't have to import it or export it. So that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
You guys also, I mean, I mentioned you were at Next Gen, but you totally believe in like the future. So you support a lot of educational events. Are you a part of Seed Your Future? I feel like Laura, you would fit right in there. We're always wanting.
Love that kind of stuff.
Right,
Yep,
we
Smithers-Oasis is the sponsor with Seed Your Future.
Yes, yes.
So while no, I'm not particularly involved on a day-to-day, but yeah, we are a sponsor of it. So we definitely believe in the next generation. The reality of it is that modern forestry is getting redefined every day. And it's getting redefined by this next generation of floral professionals. They're teaching us how to design better, to design smarter, to maybe infuse and really help to change what the art form even is, right? So I think it's a really exciting and a really cool space for us to be part of. And plus, honestly, the next geners they're just super fun. If I could be honest with you.
Right. It's like, go to Next Gen, go to JetBrains, go to all the, DevX, sure. Sign us up.
Yeah, right? No. Well, you guys are the life of the party. And I will tell everybody that Laura Walsh is a fierce competitor on the Hoova app. I mean, if you want to go to war on trying to get to the top of the leaderboard, her and I were really going at it one year.
That's so funny.
Um, do you feel these events like help connect you with the floral industry better? And is there any advice you could say to anybody out there that's like on the fence about if they should attend an event or which one might be better to attend or so forth, as an attendee?
I think that for us, I mean, we are, we have a large presence at the different shows and venues and all the different events that are out there. And it really keeps us connected. We can talk to florists, we can talk through them via email and through social, but when we're one-on-one talking to them and talking to retail florists and talking to floral designers, Wedding MBA is a newer show that we're doing. This is our 3rd year going there, this year coming up. And we have met so many people in areas that we were not really familiar with. So we just continue learning and we continue trying new things. And, we're just out there and we just continue to, meet people and still, see our, friends that we've known for years. So it's a mix of both.
Yeah. And I always tell youngsters that if you're really looking for a way to learn your craft, hone your craft, be good at what you do, plug in and get connected.
Yes.
Right? And there's no better place to get connected than places like SAF or Next Gen or WFSA or DevX or AIFD or I mean, I could go on and I love them all for each of their own individual reasons, right? But there's just something really magical about working side by side with some of the best designers, that our industry has to offer, learning from them, seeing that they're human too, right? And maybe getting past a little bit of just like our Instagram, TikTok world, right? To like interact with some of the coolest people you're going to run across in real life, right? It's such a great learning experience. And I think you make some good lasting business relationships, flower family, friendships, whatever you're looking to find, you can definitely find it in our industry.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you can count on your flower family for just about anything. You could be at a show and maybe, for instance, maybe your product doesn't show up. Maybe that happens. And then you could make a call to a local floral friend and that friend can have it to you within, hour, So it really is just the relationships and the people that you meet at the shows, at the events that they become part of your family and they are your floral family.
Yeah. And think about the opportunities that some of these guys get because they might meet somebody and it's, oh, I designed this or I do that. And then you just get connected and you're in the right place at the right time. And that's a
Yeah.
cool to me. And I
Just
love
like
that.
everyone looks out for each other, I
Yeah.
feel like.
Well, I love our flower family, and I think
Yeah.
you're right. If something doesn't show up, they will drop anything. I think florists are the best problem solvers.
Yes,
It's like, hey, we need to
absolutely.
put that up in this spot. And they're like, wait, I got a zip tie. I just think
Right,
it's,
Right,
exactly.
exactly. They're
Yeah,
they can solve
MacGyvers. They
anything.
can do anything.
they
Yep.
really can.
They really
Well, and
are.
I really appreciate Smithers often like being one of the highest sponsors on some of these events. You see the platinum and the diamond or gold and silver. Like, I feel like florists just need to be reminded that there's companies that are actually backing these events and paying financially so that we can all gather together. So that's why we are really a big advocate of going out and practice what you preach, or like
Right.
showing up, and like I'm always glad if I see Smithers as a part of that event, that I know it's going to be a well done event that we can go ahead and support
Right.
too. So you guys are often the leader, and maybe we're not so much, we're like the follower, but I always know it's going to be tremendous. And if people didn't put forth the effort, there's not educational events that will happen. Because I feel there's a lot of shows that have really slowed down or stalled out over the years. And so, like, if there's something that people are spending time towards, we always try to support it as well.
Right.
So, yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
And send that up the flagpole, right? No,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
appreciate that like so much, because I think if these events didn't happen, like, our whole industry also suffers. So if you see an
Sure.
event happening, do yourself the honor of just going and attending or meeting these creatives and seeing how products work firsthand. Is there any event that has stood out to you as particularly memorable, or any special things that have happened?
Well, for me this year, I had the honor and the pleasure of going to the Rose Parade. And this was behind the scenes. And so Janet Justice, shout out to Janet, she had worked her magic, and I was invited to go out as a guest and to see the floats up close and see the products, the Oasis products that are used, and all of the volunteers and all of the coordination and planning and everything that it takes to get that float to go down, through the downtown Pasadena. It's just amazing. And it probably is like top five things that I've, in this career, just because it's so big and it's so amazing. But just to see, somebody just putting little seeds on a float, and the creation that it comes out to is just amazing. So it was great to see our products and to have that opportunity to go, which was a bucket list.
Yeah,
So thanks to Smithers-Oasis and to Janet for making that happen for myself personally. But that ranks right up there this year for
That's
sure.
that's good.
Yeah.
So mine's maybe reaching back a little bit. Um,
okay.
so I think it was 2019 when
Mhm.
World Cup was in Philadelphia in
Mhm.
conjunction with the Philadelphia
Yes,
Flower Show. It was magic.
it was.
It was amazing. I
I
forget, were
bet.
you there? It was
I was not
absolutely,
there. No.
oh,
Yeah.
it was
I just went in
amazing.
2023.
The
Yeah.
talent, the inspiration that I felt like being at that event, and just all of the logistics to make something happen, right? Like I could feel that I was standing in the footsteps of giants, right? And it was just such a big, exciting and humbling feeling. So I absolutely loved that.
That was awesome.
And then I do have a second one if I could. Can I have a second
Yes.
one?
Please.
My second favorite floral moment just happened not long ago at SAF Next Gen. So I got to lead a session at Next Gen on like preparing leaders for the future and some change management. And it was probably one of those, it felt magical too, right? That I got to stand in front of everybody and share some words and share some leadership perspective with the team. So I felt so honored to be there.
No, that was amazing and fantastic. I always can appreciate leadership, and anybody that can get up and really sell a message, or like give people takeaways that they can introduce into their own aspects of their own business. And when you walk away with like even just one key takeaway, you feel like you've had a whole weight lifted, or just a big aha moment. So I feel like there were several during that session. And I want you to do one of those for my whole team here, a
I
leadership
love it.
meeting
I
at
mean,
some
be
point.
careful
So
what you wish for. I absolutely love all of that. So I'm a change junkie, and I don't know if we've talked about this before. I love change management. I've been working on a PhD in change management. And so I am a junkie for change. And working at an organization who has been around for 70 years, I look at this and I go, cool, I love this, but we can't settle for status. We got to keep going. We got to evolve with the times. We got to change. And working through some of that, it was really fun to develop a message for that next gen group. So you be careful what you wish for. I would present any day of the week,
I
all of the
think in
things.
probably January, February to go to Florida for that.
But-
Probably. I mean, not
Exactly. Let's do a January. I love that.
January.
Let us get through our tenure first. But yeah, we had Barry Gottlieb, and I'm not sure if you know who that is, Barry Gottlieb. He just did a session with my group, but I often will bring in people from like the University of Florida or Stetson to do different classes on different things. So I encourage that, and I appreciate anybody who's watching, because we're all like so hungry for new information or education, or how can we more fill our cup to be better stewards to the industry and so forth. I love that. I do have a question from Kurt Schroeder to everyone. He says, one of the gaps in all the information available in our industry is good research information on what our customers really want in floral design and flower selections and what we offer. Do you agree with this, or do you see anything emerging and filling this gap?
You. Honestly, if I were probably to just paint it with a broad brush stroke, I would say yes, I do agree with that holistically, right? I know on our end, we've had to look at commissioning quite a few of our own independent research studies to understand more about consumers. Right. There's a ton of really great resources. Like just this morning, I attended a Sustainabloom through AFE, their webinar where they talked about some of their research that's available for attitudes and values with sustainability. Right. But if you're sitting here talking about like, what does that end user, you know, anybody who's just walking in the door to buy flowers, like what are their attitudes and perceptions? I would agree that there's a gap in that. And like I said, we've had to do quite a bit of it on our own, to kind of, you know, learn a little bit more. And one of these things, and Kareen, you've heard us talk about this at length too. Yes. We worked on a big like sympathy research project, right? Where we spent a lot of time trying to understand what are people really wanting in sympathy arrangements? What do they actually want to pay? What are they expecting to get? What are their attitudes and values towards it? And it was a really interesting and fun research project for us. And it showed us just how much the industry has really changed over the past 20 or 30 years. Right. So I would wholeheartedly agree with you that there's a gap just holistically. That's but I mean we need to, but it shouldn't be limited though. There's still a ton of really great resources out there through like SAF and like I said through, you know, some of these other organizations.
Yeah. Back to that research, there's a question: what inspired Smithers-Oasis to prioritize the development of a plant-based floral foam alternative? What was that from, like, consumers, or was that from the florists?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Consumers. So when we talk, for us to prioritize something with our plant-based foams, so we kind of look at sustainability in like three ways, right? So one is what are we as responsible stewards of the world expected to do? Two, what do we feel like we can make an impact on? And three, what are people willing to pay for, right? Because we always hear people have this big conversation about, you know, moving to sustainability, but there's an intention action gap that can sometimes coincide with that. The renewal product is not a product that has been taken faint of heart, and it has been driven not only from that sustainability approach of what's good for the world, but through consumer research and florist research to understand what exactly is the market looking for. And the market is looking for a plant-based foam, which we're very excited that we now have an option to be able to fill in that gap.
Yeah. Are there other opportunities to introduce more plant-based materials into other products, or
yes, definitely. I mean, there's definitely, you know, this is the start. So this is the start of this. So we can definitely, you know, look at other things and other products that that would fit into this as well. But this is our start, and I think it's a great beginning for us in the plant-based materials and foam, and that's our that's where mostly everybody starts with that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And we actually whenever we're developing a new product, we always try to look at it from a sustainability lens first, which is cool. I mean, at the end of the day, through research or understanding, not everything ends up the way you originally intended it.
Right.
And sustainability can mean so many different things to so many different people. Some people might say it's plant-based. Somebody might say, no, it needs to be degradable. And there's just so many different facets. So we have really tried to create options that we have something for every designer's challenge. So when you were talking about plant-based materials, we have a line of eco-essential containers that are made out of agricultural byproducts and plants, which is really cool for us,
True.
right?
Yeah.
They're great looking. They look very ceramic. They're very nice. Made from more sustainable options.
Right.
We prioritize, either recycled plastics, or degradable options.
Absolutely.
So really, as we go through our product roadmap and plans, we really do try to prioritize sustainability.
There's a question we have coming in from a Rebecca Stasi. What will the biodegradable properties be for the Renew Floral foam, and how long will it take to break down? Can we bring
That
it to a
is-
compost facility?
That's a great
Great
question, and I'm glad you asked that. Nice job.
Thanks, Rebecca.
So love that, Rebecca. So the renewal floral foam, as of right now, we don't have any end of life claim. And you might be freaking out inside and saying, but wait, I need to know, is it degradable? Is it compostable? Can it be used in soil? Where are we going with this? The reality of it is the testing protocols for these things can take 2 to 3 years, right? So while we're optimistic, there's going to be a very nice claim that we're going to be able to offer on end of life claims. We have a policy that we don't greenwash. And so we're not at this point able to give any kind of end of life claim because the independent laboratory testing hasn't had its ability to work through the process, right? So anything that I would say, if I made guesses, any of that, I mean, it would be just that. It would be a guess. But we've started with the highest quality materials and plant-based materials as our inputs. And so we're really optimistic about where we're going to be able to go in an end of life situation.
Do you work with different florists to test these products in real life situations, or how is that? Is that like in a lab, or is that like you just send them some things? Like, I'd just be interested to know.
We have had many florists that have tested and retested and interested, yes. So throughout, yes, and not just here in North America, but in the other divisions as well. So yes.
Yeah, and it's interesting when it comes to testing. I like to sell and market things. Right? I'm like, let's go. I want to sell the thing. I'm really excited. But I appreciate the rigor that comes from our R&D team and all our scientists where they go, no, it's not quite good enough. And I go, but no, I think it's fine. Let's sell it. Let's go now. And they constantly remind us of the integrity of who we are as a company and what we expect from the quality of our products, and that we can do better. So we keep trying.
No, I'm excited to see all the marketing that you guys have. I know you've started, but I feel like it's an evolution, right? In any kind of marketing campaign. What's next around the corner? How long do you guys spend in the planning part before you like put something out? Like campaigns
renewal,
coming?
It's been at least a year.
Yes, it's been at least a year.
It's been at least a year.
Gosh, that must be such a hard secret to keep.
It is such a hard secret.
It was very hard.
Yes.
And it's still, we've been,
But it gets code names, right? Like how fun is that? Like everybody's like, do you know about the secret alpha project? And like you're in the know. But it is hard to keep a global company quiet for a year.
Yeah.
So and kudos to the leadership team for their abilities to mum's the word on that. So it's been a long time.
Is there any sense of a price range? So when you sell these products, you sell them to the wholesalers and then the wholesalers sell them. So they can't buy this directly from Smithers. They have to go through one of your channels or.
Yeah. So eventually everything does end up on our website. And we always tell everybody, go through your wholesaler. You're going to get a better price. You're going to get better service. But I mean, if you're in a bind and you need to find something, head on over to
Right.
our website.
Perfect.
So Renewal, it got launched to the world in January at IPM Essen in Germany.
Yes.
And so now we're working on production scale up. So this product is going to be able to be made all across the globe. So whether you're in the US or in Korea or the UK, it's going to be the same quality, consistency, inputs, everything. And that takes time, right? So we're still working on scale up. And so we don't have an exact date when we're going to be fulfilling and shipping. And so that also means we don't have a price yet, right? So as we're looking through this, we've still got some more scale up efforts to go through, so that we can, increase our efficiencies, because nobody wants just an overly inflated price,
Right.
because this is where we are today. We're really trying to work on our efficiencies and make sure that we can bring the best value to the marketplace. So I get it. Stay patient with me though, but it's gonna rock your
Coming
world. It's gonna
soon.
be amazing.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Well, and I think it really comes down, price really is the factor for a lot of us, whether like we choose sustainable or not. And it's for you guys with all the research dollars that must be wrapped up into this. It's like, how do you properly put that into a product that you don't know how it's going to be picked up? So do you charge more for the product up front? Is it something that you kind of like do over time? Like I feel like those are things I don't have the brain power or capacity to like figure it out. But I know we're all very anxious for it. So it's always nice just to have options, right? I think at the end of the
Sure.
day, we all just would like to have the best options. So yeah. Um, are there any current trends that you see other than the sustainability that are like shaping the industry? Like any other trends that have been on the Smithers-Oasis team's radar? Like, oh, we gotta
So
step up
we've
this
really
year.
been focusing on our sympathy efforts and partnering with details. And, we have been doing a ton of research, and we have so many things launching coming up in July, new products, lots of fun new marketing materials, some things that we have not done before. So we're super excited, and we can't exactly say exactly what's coming out, but it's going to be amazing. And you're going to see a lot of this marketing materials and things coming for this July launch. So
Yeah.
again, we have many new products, and again, with the sustainable, lots of new sustainable sympathy products, and all fitting into all of the research that we've done with the whole sympathy line. So we're super excited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it's almost a bit of a morose topic, because I
Yes.
always like want to talk sympathy.
Right. We're like,
But it's like I feel like we've done so much. And so for me, it's so fascinating to look how the sympathy world has changed.
yes,
We all know that we're seeing a rise in cremations
right.
and celebrations of life. And we've been seeing it, at a slow pace for years, but it's starting to compound and get to a critical mass. And
Right.
our floral professionals ready for that? So instead of having to shift from selling set pieces and casket saddles and things like that, we're looking at celebrations of life
Right.
and cremations, and the upsells that could look more like your parties and events, right? So it's really such a fascinating world that
really
we're kind
is.
of like digging into with modern sympathy. And I think, as Kelly said, I think you're going to be really excited to see some cool sympathy stuff come
Yes.
out,
Right.
in July. So
Yeah.
that'll be awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
and my family just had that experience. My mother-in-law passed away at the beginning of the month, and I for the first time had to make a casket piece. And I usually my whole career I only focused on weddings or happy occasion.
Sure.
It really takes a special person to be selling to these families and making sure
Absolutely.
you're like getting it right. Because I do, I was thinking I was going to reach out to you, Laura, about this. Is that we would have loved, and I made a gorgeous piece, I have to say. We did a good job. My husband also wanted to help with it, and we used all Smithers-Oasis products, which felt really good. But I was almost really wanting to bring in and like a head designer, like an Ace Berry or a Donald Yim or something to
Right.
design just the
Right.
most glorious wedding or funeral sympathy
Yeah.
flowers.
Right.
And I thought that could be a really good sell for the right client that wants to bring in like a studio,
Absolutely.
someone really fantastic to their and make it more of that whole celebration of life. And
Right.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for Lux sympathy.
Yes.
There really is.
There is. And we did our research, and we did see that as well.
Yeah.
That really
really,
did come up. It did.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I think if it might be the special occasion. It's like I want to bring in, Jenny
Right.
Thompson
Right,
pieces from our family or so forth. And not that their local florist couldn't rise to the occasion, especially if they're using all the tips and techniques. But I also think a lot of event florists, and necessarily our customers, aren't really focused in this area line of work. And
right.
I think that there's a really big opportunity to not only fulfill your wedding clients, but then their loved ones too, in a really special, unique way. So, like, we're really excited to see all the things
You'll
that
have to have
they
you
put
come in,
together.
Corinne, you'll have to come and do it since you did such a nice job.
I
You'll
love
have to.
it.
No,
You'll
it's
be our
it's
celebrity,
such a
yeah,
special person to be able to sit with those grieving families.
absolutely.
And I think there's an art to it as well. And just to make them feel like you're just not selling more, you're
Right,
selling the best. So I feel like that could be done very easily in details.
yeah,
I actually, yes,
right,
100%.
right,
Details is the perfect platform when you're
yes,
thinking about how to pivot to be able to
yes,
sell and support more of that event style sympathy.
right,
And
right,
because it's interesting, like as we look at some of our findings, it does take it's a different type of skill set and like management that the details customer has down,
right,
right? So if ever there was a group of people that can cannibalize or capitalize on this, not cannibalize, capitalize on this trend and to be able to support and really help with those upsells of sympathy, it's your group. And what's interesting too, so when you look at the cost of sympathy as it's been going over the years, as we've transitioned from traditional burials with caskets into more things like celebrations of life, we're
right,
seeing the number of pieces that you're buying, it's going down.
yep,
And the overall average sale for those sympathy items is also going down.
yes,
And so to think about how you can redeploy and capitalize on some of these trends to get your average sale up while still making really meaningful and special and appropriate
right,
celebrations of life.
absolutely.
I love it. I could talk about
Yeah,
that one
yeah,
forever too.
yeah,
Well, and I think it's just really important for our florists out there to have those relationships with those funeral homes and funeral directors, because
absolutely.
oftentimes the funeral homes are the ones selling those pieces, and they
Mhm.
might be selling from like a really, really old book or
Old book,
something,
Yes.
because
right,
they're all
right,
kind of dated. I tell you, when we dropped off the casket piece, he said, "Oh my gosh, this is the biggest, most beautiful piece I've ever seen delivered." I thought, I was just told to make it big, so I made it really big and used all premium
right,
flowers, which shout out to Jet Fresh because they really I put together an order and they were very generous with us, and
right,
I appreciate that so much.
right,
But
right,
um but had we not had a relationship with the funeral home and they would only have sold what was there, I feel like
right,
it's
Yeah.
they're
right,
not really they're charging a premium, but then not delivering the floral. So I also feel like
exactly,
it gives maybe people paying for those the wrong sense of what they've paid their money's worth. But am I making sense there?
yes,
Like a lot is
mhm,
going into
absolutely,
that. So I think if our florists had really good relationships with either more families or better with the funeral homes, it would
right.
help everybody out. So just my 2 cents. Um, well, we've almost been speaking for over 45 minutes, so we'd like to keep this under an hour. Um, are you ready for some rapid fire questions? These are
Oh,
questions
geez.
that we
Oh,
did
Oh,
geez,
not
we,
that's
send
this is
you.
not on our list.
No, we love to do this because we do a whole
Mhm.
compilation at the end of the year, and this is just the most fun part because it
Okay,
really shows your personality. All right,
are we
Kelly.
answering together then? Are
Oh,
we,
you can do it at the same time
okay,
or
oh,
not.
geez, okay,
No,
okay,
we'll edit it.
okay.
What is your favorite word in another language?
Adios.
I always go, no, désolé, no, no.
That's good. What is your favorite drink of choice?
I love a good glass of wine, let's
Yes,
be honest.
I'm gonna
Wine,
say a glass of wine,
yeah.
a nice, yeah, a nice glass of Cabernet,
A
yeah,
rosé for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite flower?
Oh, mine definitely is a white tulip. Those are my favorite. I just love a white, beautiful tulip.
Snapdragon. My grandmother grew them.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you say, Laura?
A snapdragon, because my grandma had
Oh,
them.
I love them. That's what got me into floristry is I saw a snapdragon for the first time. I
I
was
Oh,
like,
love them.
great.
what is that? What's one item you cannot leave your home without?
Um,
All of the beverages. I have water bottles on water bottles on water bottles everywhere I go.
I would say just some lipstick.
Do you have a shade that you wear, Kelly?
I don't. I'm not
Okay.
very loyal to a brand.
She's trendy with the seasons though, so she's very in.
Okay. Well, that brings me to my next rapid fire. Summer, spring, winter, or fall? What is your favorite?
Um, I'm gonna say fall for me.
Fall, I agree.
Yeah.
Sweater weather.
Yeah.
Like we need
Sweater
comfy.
weather. Yeah.
Morning or evening?
Morning.
Morning. I'm like a 4 a.m. gal every day.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah,
I'm more of a 5:30, but
I'm asleep by like 8:30. I'm done.
Oh, I'm a snoozer all morning. I'm like snooze from 7 to 8. Um, what's a hobby that you've always wanted to try but haven't yet?
um, um, oh, do you have a hobby?
Rock climbing. I'd like to try that.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
exciting,
I'd like to do that.
right? A
You're
hobby,
very fragile though, Laura.
right?
I know, I break everything all the time, guys. So nobody should let me rock climb.
Right. Okay, a hobby that I haven't tried. Oh geez. God, the first thing that came up, and this is gonna be so terrible, knitting. I mean, like, and I'm like, not just knitting, but like maybe
I love that.
like
Crocheting.
crocheting or
Oh.
something, but maybe that's just because I'm getting older. I don't
Making
know.
Sounds like a
intricate
secret
things.
Santa. Secret Santa gift for,
Right.
for sure. Are you more of a thinker or a doer?
A doer.
I
I
don't
think I'm
know.
a doer.
I like to think, but nobody pays you to think, they pay you to do. So I'm gonna go do.
A place you'd most like to travel to?
Right now is Ireland. I really would like to go to Ireland. I haven't been, so that's on my list.
Yeah,
Short list.
I've always wanted to go to Zion National Park. I've been to a million national parks and never Zion National Park.
Is that that's in the US, right?
It's in Utah. Yeah.
Okay. What is for dinner tonight?
I think it's gonna be a couple pieces of cheese because like my husband's not home and I don't usually cook when he's gone. So
And a glass of Cabernet. No, rosé. No, no.
So we have a beautiful day today. I mean, it's a beautiful spring day, so I think maybe something on the barbecue tonight, I think would be, yes. Yeah,
Thank you.
something on the grill tonight. Yeah,
Sounds lovely. I'm coming over.
sure.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
I don't think anybody wants me to sing karaoke. So
Um, if I was to sing karaoke, it would be probably with my sisters. So it would be We Are Family. I would sing that We Are Family. I got all my sisters and me. That was one that I would sing.
I would very theatrically do a rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's a good one.
Good. What is your hidden talent? Not singing. No.
Hidden talent. Ooh. Oh, I'm a speed reader. Nobody knows I can do that. I can read so fast and process very quickly. Hidden talent.
Pretty good at Zumba. So Zumba might be my.
That's true. How many people know that you're good at Zumba? Hidden talent.
No, there you go. This is going to be so cute when we splice it all together. What's a song that always puts you in a good mood?
Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, that's a good one. Always puts me in a good mood. You Are My Sunshine.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah.
Cute. Mike Black once sang that to me. Can you believe that? He called me up. He knew I was having a bad day. I was like, oh, cute. All right. What's your favorite dance move? And can you show it to us?
Oh, geez. The favorite dance move. There's so many.
I'm just gonna say I don't have one and no. Oh, that's sprinkler. Yeah,
Sprinkler. Yeah, and I think it's some of the disco coming back. Yeah.
I mean, how about the worm? But there's just not enough space here.
Yes, I definitely.
Right.
I'm from the disco era, so that it's always been a favorite of mine.
I love it.
And if you could have a superpower, this is the last question,
Okay.
what would it be?
Teleportation, because I hate leaving my house and getting on planes and doing all of that. I would teleport everywhere.
Right, right. Oh, if I had a superpower, yeah, just I don't know, just oh gosh, my superpower would be I don't know, having a beautiful, just doing this and my garden's all done and everything's done. If I had a superpower, just everything would be done
I
for.
dream a genie. Like,
I
I
dream
think
a genie would
Like
be,
garden
yes,
style,
like
I
garden
do my
style.
genie garden style.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Boom. And then garden's done.
that's done.
Yeah.
Done.
You do that for me too then. Okay.
Yes. It's my
No.
superpower.
Well, that's amazing. If anybody wants to reach out to you, how can they get in touch with you guys?
Sure. So yeah, you can definitely email me at kmace@smithersoasis.com.
Yeah,
Right
and I'm Laura Walsh at lwalsh@smithers-oasis.com.
Yeah.
You can also find us on all of our various and assorted social media
Yes.
ways. Just look for our North American side, and if you drop a message, it will find us eventually
Yes.
from someone. So whatever
That's
you need.
perfect. Well, thank you guys for spending the last hour with me. And I enjoyed getting to learn more about your products and the company and you two beautiful women that I enjoy seeing wherever I go around the world. I know that you will be there or one of your floral friends will be there. And thank you guys. I look forward to the next time we see you. When is that going to be? Florida? The
Florida.
Florida?
Yep,
Florida? All right.
Florida.
We will see you in what is that? Margaritaville. See,
Yeah.
they do the most fantastic places. Tell you, we're very lucky.
Yeah. We are.
I love it.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much for
thank
having
you.
us. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we loved you
Yeah.
guys. You guys are
too.
like one of our favorites.
Yes.
So thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
We always think, what
love
would
that.
details do?
What was that?
We always
Oh,
think,
what
what
would
would
details do?
details
You
do?
know, I know. Well, Palm Springs is coming up, and so I'm like, oh, we've got those sweets again. I know. I know. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be like over the top, but I've got to compete with Smithers. So I'm like,
You should be over the top. I expect nothing else than over the
Right.
top.
well, yeah, I love all the layers. I just love layering, layers and layers.
Yeah.
We just need more layers of whatever. So anyway, lovely to see you guys. Thank you so much, and
Seeing you.
it will be make it a great rest of the year. And I hope to see you soon.